for joining us live here in Charlottesville, across Albemarle County, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Great to connect with you guys on a Thursday afternoon from downtown Charlottesville. A lot to cover on today's show. I want to talk local topics like school buses and transportation. Next week, look at the temperatures. Every morning we wake up next week, the temperatures are below freezing. The students that are waiting at school buses for, in some cases, 2 hours or more, are literally going to be standing around in sub-32 degree temperatures. I want to put that on everybody's radar. And speaking of schools, there are 8 days left for someone in Whitehall, the district here in Central Virginia and Albemarle County, to apply for David Oberg's school board spot. He surprisingly resigned in the last school board meeting, and there are now 8 days with a deadline of 5 p.m. Friday, November 18th to apply for this spot to get on the school board and to civically engage as a potential leader or vision crafter of ACPS, Albemarle County Public Schools, and the many issues they have. The expectation is a successor to David Oberg will be appointed and named at a public hearing on December 15th. The new board member will take office on January 1. So we'll talk about that on today's show. I want to talk about the CPI number today that is, still high, but lower than expected. You have every index green right now. The Dow is surging, the S&P is surging, the NASDAQ is 6% plus. The consumer price index rose just 0.4% for the month and 7.7% from a year ago. But it's the lowest annual increase since January and a slowdown from the 8.2% annual pace the prior month. Because of that, many are anticipating inflation is potentially plateauing or peaking, and that's why the markets are responding favorably. It's still hot and burning. We'll get Judah Wickhauer in the mix on this to get his take on CPI and what's transpiring. A 7.7 is not low. And I understand it's lower than expected, Judah. First, good afternoon. This number still is extremely concerning.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously people are ODing on hopium right now.
You said ODing on what?
Hopium.
Hopium?
Yeah.
You're saying this is hope?
Yeah. Clearly, we all know the CPI number is higher. Alex said it well when he talked about the fact that Alex
Arpey, CEO of Emergent Financial Services.
You can't take out food and oil, gas, and say that everything is fine. Anybody that shops at a grocery store, which is pretty much all of us, unless you leave it to someone else in your family to do. Everybody knows that you're not going to escape the worst of inflation and at the pump or at the grocery store.
I encourage everybody. I think there's a lot of truth to that. If you have any propane with your house, fill the tank now. Those prices are going to go up. We had ours filled today. We picked up the phone, we called Tiger Fuel, and we said, look, we're at 50% with our tank, but we want it filled today. This is how we run the electric fireplaces, the stove, the gas stove. If you need gas in the tank, to keep your house warm, to run your kitchen, your stove. Do it now. The number's going to get higher. Pick up the phone, call your provider, say come out as soon as possible. 30 days from now, you're going to be paying something completely different. I am trepid to champion or to celebrate what's happening macro stock market today. You got the Dow up 2.5 points, 2.6 to be exact. S&P 4+ points it's up, and the NASDAQ is flirting with 6% increase. The Russell 2000, 5.5% increase. Our Deep Throat Anonymous on Twitter, I had a pleasure of meeting you yesterday. Thank you for introducing yourself. I promise you I will maintain your anonymity. He says a lot of the CPI missed today was based on health insurance. That's really a model-driven number, a model recalibrated once a year. That said, I think other indicators suggest we're probably close to peak as well. Giving him props for sending that message to us. We hope, I certainly hope we're at peak, man. I certainly hope we're at peak. Powell said he wanted to see massive layoffs, and massive layoffs are happening. I'll put that in perspective for you for some of the tech companies. This was as of this morning. Meta, which is Facebook, has laid off over 11,000 people. Twitter, now owned by Elon Musk, has laid off over 3,700 people. Judah, you're going to be in this conversation here, so I would focus. Meta has laid off over 11,000 people, Twitter over 3,700 people, Lyft has laid off over 700 people, Stripe over 1,100 people, Coinbase over 1,200 people, Shopify over 1,000 people, Netflix over 450 people, Microsoft about 1,000 people, Snap thousands of people, Robinhood 31% of its staff, Chime, a couple hundred people. That's all via CNBC. And they're going to continue. So when the interest rate hikes to get inflation in check, Jay Powell's his mission, he said, you will feel layoff pain. We're seeing that at the top of the professional totem pole with technology. Hardest hit of any stocks and equities technology in 2022, and it's not even close. If you have technology stocks in your portfolio like I do, hell, even semiconductors like AMD and NVIDIA are being ripped and hammered. I mean, you're looking at 20, 30% drops for those positions. Twitter, you can make a legitimate argument some of these layoffs are Musk-driven.
Some.
All the layoffs are Musk-driven and needed to happen, as he's taken the fat off the payroll. A lot of folks saying that Musk is absolutely destroying this company that he overpaid for. Paid what, north of $40 billion with a B dollars.
It was something like $46 billion.
46? I thought it was 42. Twitter purchase price. Might have been 46. 44 billion, right in the middle. A lot of people saying it was worth 12 or 13.
When you get rid of all the bots?
I will highlight this. When Steve Jobs came back and took over Apple for the second time, Steve Jobs did massive layoffs. And people were questioning what the late, great Steve Jobs was doing with Apple when he came back a second time around. Anytime you bring in someone like a Musk or a Jobs, I mean, Schultz at Starbucks is another example. These guys aren't playing the friendly game. They're not friendly people. Being a number one at a company is not about being a nice guy. It's about keeping the company in operation so people can get paid. And Twitter, let's cut to the chase, was hemorrhaging money. And its daily active users were dropping. And I understand that Twitter is, of all the social media platforms, maybe you make the argument the most like a town square. You give me that?
Twitter is most like a town square.
What's confusing about that?
I didn't say it was confusing. I just, sure, if you want it, take it.
Which social media platform is most like a town square?
It's a tough one. I mean, I don't know I don't know too many town squares that work the way they used to these days.
Which social media platform is most like a public forum or town square? I mean, it's not Instagram. It's not TikTok. It's not Snapchat. I don't think it's Facebook anymore.
Sure.
I mean, what is your suggestion? Which one do you think it is?
I guess Twitter works for that. You're talking about just a bunch of people shouting in the center of the town square, hoping somebody hears them?
I think Twitter's the most like a town square of all of them.
All right.
Which one do you suggest if you don't think it's Twitter?
No, I think Twitter's fine.
So you think it is Twitter?
Sure.
Okay. So Twitter most like a town square. We're both in agreement here of all the social media platforms. Do you think he's doing a bad job?
Do I think Musk is doing a bad job?
Yeah. I mean, what's your take on this?
I mean, it's hard to say what his end goal is here. His
end goal is to make money. We know that.
Okay.
He's paid $44 billion for something. He needs to get a return on the investment he made. He sold a lot of his personal Tesla stock to make this happen. I mean, his end goal is to make money.
That's being a little simplistic, but...
I mean, it's a business. Yeah. Every business's end goal is to make money.
Yeah, but if Musk wanted to make money, there's no reason that he would buy Twitter. I doubt he made the purchase just to make money.
I mean, I disagree with that. I think.
So you think the only consideration was making money?
I think one of his primary. He spent $44 billion.
I know.
I mean, what was Elon Musk's net worth before buying Twitter? I mean, what was the net worth? $200 billion? He spent over 20% of his net worth to buy this company. Yeah. I would imagine that if you're spending over 20% of your net worth and selling stock in your primary entity, Tesla, to do this, that you're probably focused on making money.
And do you think that was a smart move of him?
I think Elon Musk overpaid. I think Elon Musk is driving advertisers off the platform very quickly. I think his idea of monetizing Twitter with this $8 monthly fee, this $8 subscription, is time will tell if that plays out. I'll pay the $8. I'll pay the $8 to get a flavor or feel for it. But I do 100% believe that Musk bought this company to make money.
Well, then it sounds like he's doing a pretty poor job of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a week, 10 days. And eventually we're going to localize this to Charlottesville because a lot of the news originates in Central Virginia, in Charlottesville, in the Twitter sphere. And what you're seeing with Twitter is with Musk, who is undoubtedly a capitalist. I mean, he's a capitalist. He told people before the midterms, Elon Musk did, to vote Republican. He's in the business of making money with SpaceX and Tesla. To say he wouldn't be in the business first to make money with Twitter is not, realistic, especially with someone who's spending 20% of his net worth to buy the company. And I want to relate it to a Charlottesville standpoint here in a matter of moments. I've been watching on Twitter as those with very different ideologies from Musk are leaving the platform by the hundreds or thousands. Locally, and I'm talking locally. People with the ideology different from Musk are leaving by the millions, although Musk said a few days ago that Twitter just had its most traffic it's ever had in the history of the platform. Let's tie it to Charlottesville. What's the type of news, or what do you think is the predominant user of Charlottesville and Central Virginia Twitter?
predominant user in Central Virginia of Twitter? Who would you say? I certainly don't know who the predominant user is.
If there was a user in Charlottesville or Central Virginia that used the platform the most, what do you think are the common characteristics of those?
I mean, I have no access to any information on who's using it. If you say everybody who's using Twitter, I mean...
I'd say Charlottesville and Central Virginia Twitter leans left and leans socialist.
Charlottesville, definitely. I don't know about Central Virginia.
Charlottesville and Albemarle County are the predominant density of Central Virginia. If you took Albemarle County and the city of Charlottesville from a density standpoint, that's 65% of Central Virginia. Say Central Virginia is roughly 300,000 people. Charlottesville City is 50,000 people. Albemarle County population is 113. So you're looking at 165, 60% in two jurisdictions. I would also bet that the majority of Twitter users in Central Virginia fall in the county of Albemarle or in the city of Charlottesville. So this is where I'm going with this. I think the predominant place for news to originate in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia is Twitter. Musk, a capitalist who's invested, call it 20% of his net worth into buying this platform, more than 20% of his net worth to buy this platform, is going to try to figure out how to monetize it and make some money with it. And as he implements these changes to Twitter, you are watching as left-leaning and socialist-leaning individuals are asking themselves if this is the right place for us to share our values, our ideas, and our storylines. So one trend that I'm watching is how will social media habits change based on who has purchased the platform? Of all the folks, back to a two-shot with you, and we'll just keep it on a two-shot.
It's been on a two-shot.
Of all the folks that own social media platforms, which is most politically minded?
Of all the people that own them?
Yeah.
So like Musk and
Zuckerberg.
Which one of those people is most politically minded?
Yeah, I would say it's Musk, right?
Just based on his recent comments, yeah.
Who else would be there with him, do you think? I mean, Zuckerberg is really not politically... Of all the faces of the social media companies, it's Musk. I mean, Musk is now an owner of a social media company. I mean, you own a social media company, that's like owning, like, from a sex appeal standpoint or from a pedigree standpoint or a prestige standpoint. What is on the same level of owning a social media company? Maybe an NFL franchise? And the social media companies are trading for considerably more money than an NFL franchise. What's on the same level of owning a social media company?
Building a rocket.
What's that?
Building a rocket and going to space.
So SpaceX.
Yeah, I'd say that that measures up there.
You think? I think a lot more people in the world know the brand Twitter than they know the brand SpaceX.
Okay. You didn't ask about brand recognition. You
asked about
sexiness.
I asked about prestige and sexiness, which is brand recognition.
Yeah.
Prestige is brand recognition. Those are synonymous.
Okay, but I doubt Musk is rubbing elbows with somebody that wouldn't know what SpaceX is. I don't see that. Social media, I'm just basically saying, if you own a social media company, what other things can you own that have that level of prestige of a social media company? If you want to make a point, go ahead.
Oh, I'm asking.
I responded.
So you say SpaceX.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure where you're going with this, so I don't know how to respond.
Do you know the name of Jeff Bezos' space company?
It's Blue something or other.
Here's my point. Blue Origin is the name. So Jeff Bezos, who I would say is the market leader with space.
Is he?
Who would you say is?
You wouldn't say SpaceX? You wouldn't. I mean,
Who would you guys say?
I don't know. I've heard more about SpaceX than I have.
I'd say it's Blue Origin.
Origins, but okay.
I guess that's my point. Is like I don't think the average Joe or the average Sally is going to be able to rattle off the space companies. But the average Joe or average Sally, if we said give us 5 social media companies, they'd be able to rattle them off immediately. They'd say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. They'd probably say those 5.
Sure.
So I would think that owning a social media company is at least a synonymous level of prestige or notoriety or sex appeal as owning, say, an NFL franchise. One of the reasons that these NFL franchises have such pedigree or notoriety associated with them is because there's so few of them. Twitter, with social media platforms, there's even less of substance and value that actually have traffic. So here's the question I'm going to ask. As Musk continues to roll up his sleeves and make this platform what he wants it to be, and Musk is clearly calling the shots, how is this going to impact the dissemination of news in an otherwise starved news market? We're all in agreement here that we are starving or we're in a news desert right now in Central Virginia. TV stations are strapped. Legacy media, from an advertising standpoint, is struggling. The TV stations are choosing to hire talent that's fresh out of college as opposed to legacy individuals that have been in the market long term that have sources and contacts and networks. The newspaper, the Daily Progress, just lost Brian McKenzie. I worked at the Daily Progress. Brian McKenzie was there when I was there. Brian McKenzie is an institution. I think he spent over 3 decades, over 30 years at the Daily Progress. I'll ask anyone that's watching this program, when's the last time, and I'll ask Judah first, when's the last time you've read the Daily Progress, Judah?
It's been quite a while. I mean, I look at the cover when I'm at the grocery store, but other than that, I can't remember the last time I bought one.
So, when's the last time?
I couldn't
Years?
say. Probably.
Last time since you picked up the print edition of Daily Progress has been years.
The last time I've done more than read the cover copy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm similar. When's the last time you've read the Daily Progress online? dailyprogress.com.
I mean, I've certainly gone to articles. We talk about them.
Do you have a subscription, online subscription?
No.
So it's behind a paywall now,
Yeah.
the website. So I'm genuinely very curious of how many people are paying for the content that's behind this paywall at dailyprogress.com. I'm very curious to that number, because that number in a lot of ways determines the value of the ad placement on the website. I think we're both in agreement, and you and I are similar here. The last time I picked up the print edition of the Daily Progress was, it's been years. I personally have a paywall subscription to the website. Judah does not. My point is, one of the town halls for news locally, Twitter, is now owned by someone that is a capitalist and very much associated. I mean, before the election, he said vote Republican. He told people to vote Republican. So I think that this is further going to impact negatively the dissemination of news in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, because a large chunk of the Charlottesville and Albemarle County population is left-leaning. We even saw that in the race with Thronberg and Bob Good. Bob Good crushed Josh Thronberg. Josh Thronberg did extremely well in Charlottesville City and Albemarle County. City and Albemarle County lean left. So as the county and the city, which lean left, are now losing their main platform for getting news out, Twitter, because they disagree with the ideology of the owner of the platform, where is that critical mass of people going to go to publish the news and get it out to the community?
Parler?
I don't think it's going to be Parler. You want to tell folks about Parler?
I don't know a whole lot about it, but I believe Trump started it as an alternative to Facebook.
I thought you were going to say Truth Social there.
What?
I thought you were going to say Truth Social.
Truth Social, what's that?
Another similar platform. Where's it going to go? Where's that news segment going to go?
You don't think they'll eventually come back to Twitter if they actually do leave it?
Truth Social is an alt-tech social media company created by Trump. I don't think Trump created Parler.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think he created Parler. No, I mean, I don't know. I think Musk is making such radical changes to Twitter that the left and socialists in Charlottesville and Albemarle County are jettisoning the platform.
Yeah, but they might bring it back. I mean, at some point he's going to be finished making changes, doing whatever he wants to do. I don't think he's looking for a platform that less than 50% of Americans want to use. And how is that going to affect global usage of it? Are people globally going to drop out because they don't like his politics?
I think yes.
And really, how is him tweeting anything, whatever it is, whether it's vote Republican or whatever else, how does that have anything to do with the actual platform? Because he could tweet that. He could have tweeted that before he bought it.
Well, he tweeted it after he bought it. I personally have no problem with the owner of the business offering his or her politics on the platforms of the business. I own this business. I talk opinion, politics, and perspective 5 days a week. It's not what everyone agrees with, and if people disagree, I'm fine with that. I have now, Musk obviously has much greater scale than we do here with what we're doing. Okay? I have no problem with the owner of the business doing this. Will there be collateral damage? Yes. And I think the collateral damage is a large chunk of the people are leaving the platform. I'd like to localize this since it's the I Love CVille show, and I'm going to ask the viewers and listeners this question. What is going to happen to an already news desert, which is Charlottesville and Albemarle County in Central Virginia, when the Twitter platform is now being run by a staunch capitalist, and this staunch capitalist is alienating many people that are the opposite side of the political spectrum of him? From a Charlottesville and Central Virginia standpoint, my fear is the desert, the news desert we're in, is going to become more deserted.
So
and it's going to become more scarce.
You're saying that all those people are just cutting off their nose to spite their face?
I think they feel very disenchanted and disenfranchised and alienated and angry that a platform that they have spent so much time creating content within and building networks and connections and followings is now a platform that's owned by their political ideology opposite.
Okay.
I mean, would you, knowing you, I would think you would stay on the platform. It wouldn't matter to you.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure why it matters, why it would matter to, I know it does matter to people, but I'm not sure why it matters to people that the owner believes this, that, or the other. I know.
Because they have pride. Those are their beliefs. That's what they stand for.
Yeah, but so what? I get it. But it does, in terms of not using a service.
Out of curiosity, have you ever boycotted a product or service or business because of what they stand for politically? A good example is a lot of people boycott Chick-fil-A because of some of their political beliefs. I'm not saying that's you. But
I would say more religious than political beliefs. But
have you ever boycotted a product or service or business because of religious beliefs or political beliefs or anything like that?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I wouldn't use the word boycott anyways. If I decided I didn't like something because the owner was a political, a particular party, I would just stop using the product. I wouldn't. I'm just not the kind of person that's going to go waving my flag around the city saying, I don't do X because so and so is a bad person.
So have you not stopped using something because of that? Is there any you can think of?
Nothing specifically.
I'm trying to think. How about you, viewers and listeners? Kevin Yancey, Gwendolyn, Gail Cassidy. How about you? Anonymous, how about you? I'm getting a number on Twitter here from the Infinite Goat. Have you guys ever boycotted a business or brand or service because of political ideology or because of the owner? I don't think I have either.
It's because it's a childish stance to take.
I don't think that. I think that's an unfair statement because a lot of people are doing this, and you're basically calling these people childish.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unfair. It's their beliefs. This is what they stand for.
Okay.
Gwendolyn Gail Cassidy says, I have not stepped foot into Walmart since 2005.
I'm not sure.
Katie Pearl says this, imagine if conservatives had the luxury to leave platforms where the owner was left-leaning. Almost every mainstream organization is run by left-leaning people. There's a lot of truth to that.
That's a good point.
Certainly in media, there's a lot of truth. Janice Boyce Trevelyan, the previous owner did the same to another segment of users. The previous owner, certainly the previous people that managed Twitter, the previous managers of Twitter, certainly were managing Twitter in a more left-leaning capacity than a right-leaning capacity. That's certainly true. You saw that how the New York Times was amplified on the platform Twitter. Undoubtedly, you saw that. So Janice Boyce Trevelyan, that's a good comment. Katie Pearl, that's a good comment as well. I have not boycotted or stopped using a product. Neither of you. A lot of people, it's Chick-fil-A, the easy one. You've heard that before, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
But you don't understand that?
I understand what they say is their reasoning, but I mean, what? It's some guy who's built up a business and they're angry because he believes things a certain way. It's just, have any of them ever done any damage to Chick-fil-A? I don't think so. And I think most of it is just virtue signaling.
Is virtue signaling?
Yeah.
I mean, the owner of Chick-fil-A has got some rhetoric that's very anti-LGBTQ.
Some rhetoric? I mean, how much is he going out there and espousing beliefs about LGBTQ?
I mean, it's happened. It's certainly happened.
But is it him going out there and trying to make a statement, or is it people taking something that he has said somewhere to someone and trying to vilify him because of it?
Well, I mean, here the follow-up question to that be, when you have a brand that is nationally or globally is recognized as Chick-fil-A, should the owners be vocalizing political beliefs at all?
It's a good question.
Here's a great segue to this, and then I want to localize this. What business locally in Charlottesville or Central Virginia has an owner that is extremely vocal about their political beliefs?
Not one that survives very long.
Can you think of any?
I can think of a few who've gotten into trouble because of stuff.
Like who?
Well, we don't want to name names.
Are they still in business?
We've helped one or two of them. I don't know. Not here, I don't think. At least not in the capacity they were in before.
Oh, are you talking? You're talking Bella's Restaurant.
Yeah.
Is that who you're alluding to?
That's the big one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would think that was a mistake by the former owner of Bella's Restaurant, where on social media he posted something that was very critical of the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And then
something like that.
That's what he did. And then Dr. Wes Bellamy, the former city councilor, immediately then had a protest outside of Bella's Restaurant after the owner of Bella's made that comment on social media. Yeah, I mean, there's a good example. Can you guys, viewers and listeners, think of a company in Charlottesville, Central Virginia, where the owner of the company is very political in speech or perspective?
Like I said, not.
Do you think of any other ones? That was a good one. That was one that you just came up with. That was a good one.
But why would anyone with even the slightest bit of savvy is not going to...
Chick-fil-A did, and they have savvy.
Yeah, but...
Musk did.
Neither of them are local.
Oh, because you're saying the ones that are hyper-local have even more to lose and less willing than one that has economies of scale.
If you've
That's
got
fair.
a business in Charlottesville and you say the wrong thing, I mean, you could see your business drop to nothing like that. Which is why I'm pretty sure most people are either not going to say anything or just pretend they're left-leaning.
Carol Thorpe, Chick-fil-A in Charlottesville thrives. While 85% voted for Thronberg, there's still a consistent line at the drive-thru. I think a lot of it is quiet hypocrites. They still order from their cars. There aren't enough conservatives in Charlottesville to keep that restaurant open.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Most of the people engaging in protests and I think they're just being childish and they're virtue signaling.
Katie Pearl says,
"Look at me! Look what I can do!
Katie Pearl says this: a lot of the companies and restaurants in the area had the BLM signs and the rainbow flags in their establishments. Yeah. It's all over Charlottesville.
Because they're not stupid.
Go. You want to finish that thought?
Yeah. Whether or not they believe in that, if they were to show any opposition to that, they might see their businesses shut down. So
you're saying that you don't even think it's genuine? I think in some cases it's genuine.
I'm not trying to call out anyone for not being genuine, but I'm saying that if you have a business that depends on regular traffic, people coming in, you need to do your best to go with the flow and not rock the boat, especially in this town.
Does going with the flow mean riding the bandwagon of politics, even if it's not what the owner believes in? Is that what going with the flow means?
Yeah.
Then at that point, does that become disingenuous branding and advertising and marketing?
Sadly, I think it becomes survival. When you're in the middle of a pandemic.
This is what I want to get into here. This is how we're localizing the Elon Musk taking over Twitter. We're unpacking it. I'm going to get to Anonymous, the I Love CVille Network's Deep Throat here, who's got great comments coming in. I'm taking a topic that's a macro topic, Elon Musk buying Twitter, and we're unpacking it at the macro level, and then we're taking it down to the micro level for Charlottesville and Central Virginia. It's a fantastic topic with a lot of layers to the onion here. Did you see? Would you? So I mean, this is a good conversation. Certainly a cocktail party conversation. Was a lot of what we saw during COVID, or a lot of the political branding we see in Charlottesville, is it disingenuous branding and advertising? Or is it truly an indication of how the owner of the business feels? And I would say for a lot of the owners in the business, which we know a lot of them, it is an indication of how they truly feel. I think some are utilizing it to drive sales where they may or may not be passionate about it or not.
Yeah.
And does that become then disingenuous?
No, like I said before, it's survival. You had people during the riots, the most recent riots, yelling and putting signs in their windows that we're with you. And they're still getting their windows smashed in. People are out there in the middle of a pandemic, hoping their business survives, and some people put the signs up or whatever we're talking about because they believe in. I think other people it was like a shield. It's like, look, we're dying here, guys. Please don't destroy our business.
It was the shield. It was their protection. That's great. That's a great take right there. Take Kyrie Irving. Anyone following the New Jersey Nets point guard Kyrie Irving? He shared on social media a link to a movie that's on Amazon. And this movie that's on Amazon has anti-Semitic plot lines. And Irving, the Nets point guard, said, watch this movie, basically. And then when questioned by the media about this, he doubled down and said, I stand by my right to tell people to watch this movie on their platform. I'm going to get to your comments here. Bill McChesney, Juan Sarmiento, Todd Rath. I'm going to get to your comments, Kevin Higgins, as well. And today, Nike and Phil Knight have come on record. Phil Knight is the co-founder of maybe one of the most recognized brands in the whole world. And Phil Knight says Nike likely will never have another relationship with Kyrie Irving again. Kyrie Irving was suspended for 5 games without pay. He was suspended 5 games without pay after making a $500,000 donation of his own money to pro-Jewish entities and nonprofits.
And then this is after tweeting about an anti-Semitic movie.
Yes.
So he...
in the last 2 weeks, he's gone from tweeting about an anti-Semitic movie on Amazon to losing his own shoe with Nike, tens of millions of dollars, if not $100 million plus with Nike, being suspended for 5 games with the New Jersey Nets without pay. This is an NBA team. And then having to donate $500,000 of his own money to help offset the collateral damage of his tweet. He's deleted his tweet, and right now his career is in absolute peril right now.
It's insane.
It's insane.
Like, why is there not an outcry against Amazon?
It's a fair question. For having the movie on its platform.
Yeah.
And having the movie on its platform where it's monetizing the movie.
Yeah.
It's making money off the anti-Semitic plot lines in this movie.
It's making money off the movie.
It's making money off the movie.
Yeah. It's insane. I mean,
yet the cancel culture goes after the basketball player who tweeted a link to the movie.
Because none of them want to stop watching movies on Amazon.
Or because Jeff Bezos and Amazon have too much power and money. All the above.
That too, yeah.
I mean, the guy's career is potentially in absolute peril right now. And I'm not siding with Irving by any means. No one watching this show, please think I'm siding with what Irving's done. Kyrie Irving is a bonehead. This is the same guy who thought the world was flat and not round. This is the same guy who was utilizing his platform to tell people not to get vaccinated. Okay? He's got a lot of boneheaded stuff Kyrie Irving has done in his past.
And do we know that the tweet was that he likes the movie because of its anti-Semitic? I mean, I've never heard of the movie before today. I'm curious whether the entire movie is just blatantly anti-Semitic, or if there's something else that he got from it. I mean,
the entire movie is not anti-Semitic. There
Okay.
are aspects of the movie that are.
So did his tweet? Was he advocating for the anti-Semitic part of the movie in the tweet, or was he just saying, "I like this movie"?
He was saying you should watch this. Yeah.
Poor guy. I mean,
To watch this is what he was saying.
yeah.
That's what he was saying. Let's get to comments. McChesney says Twitter is from a town hall standpoint, maybe Twitter or the neighborhood app. Neighborhood app is a Nextdoor.
Nextdoor.
Can be a scary place. Nextdoor. Juan Sarmiento says, I would say his purpose for buying Twitter was to somehow create a forum where free speech or any speech would be allowed. He realized he overpaid and is now backtracking and trying to figure out how to make money.
Yeah, it sounds a little more like it to me.
Bill McChesney says, we quit our Daily Progress subscription because the content was minimal and delayed compared to other digital sources. We keep the Sunday edition for the coupons. Todd Rath brings up a good one. Denver Riggleman, Silverback Distillery, great dude, great family, great leader, as someone locally who's utilized his business to voice political perspective. That's a good one.
Yeah, and he's paid for it.
He's certainly paid for it. Certainly paid for it.
And in fact, he didn't even pay for being political. I think he paid for being apolitical.
He paid for it from a political career standpoint when he officiated a gay marriage.
Yeah.
When he officiated a gay marriage, he basically got blackballed by the Republican Party. And because he officiated the gay marriage and got blackballed by the Republican Party, Bob Good rose from the ashes, and now Bob Good and his camp have a stranglehold on the GOP in the 5th District.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of what Riggleman's come on this network
I wonder how
before.
many people wish we had Riggleman back.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of people, Riggleman is much more centered.
Yeah.
Much more centered than the incumbent and the congressman who's going to run for another couple years. Mm-hmm. Kevin Higgins says, how about the ACSB, Albemarle County School Board, and its decision to restrict the use of certain pronouns? Most parents don't have the option to move kids, but I can tell you without question the water is boiling. He brings up the Albemarle County School Board as an entity that's gotten political. Now, to the school board's point, is the school board not in some way supposed to get political?
Is the school board supposed to get political?
Is the school board supposed to completely distance itself from politics?
I mean,
And are now politics so much part of education that it cannot do it? I mean, think about the main landmines in schools right now. The main political talking points. They're the school buses, transportation, transgender, curriculum, teachers quitting, violence in schools, and SOL performance. Those are the topics.
Okay.
I'd say a good bunch of them are political. Are they not? I mean, schools are a political landfill now. A political landmine.
But that doesn't mean that they should be. In fact, I would say anyone bringing politics to a school board is probably doing a poor job and doing a disservice to the students who are the ultimate, who they are ultimately supposed to be helping.
The students.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what's odd here. This is what's odd. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think you're bringing really good, reasonable insight to the show. Jamie Turner, the mayor of Gordonsville, we'll get to your comment here in a matter of moments. People run for the school board without party affiliation.
And that's the way it should be. And
it's the way it should be.
And they should leave their party affiliation at the door when they meet.
But it's us as constituents and voters and parents that are branding the candidates with a party affiliation. Someone that runs for school board will get branded by voters as either a Democrat or a Republican. Like when we talk about the school board now, we talk about 7 Democrats on the school board. You even see it in the...
Do we talk about them that way because of things they've done outside of the board, or do we talk about them that way because of things they're trying to push, for instance, renaming the schools?
I think because of things that they're doing while on the board.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Which means that their labeling doesn't have anything to do with who they are.
Oberg's in a second term. Graham Page is in another term. These aren't first-term people. So folks knew what they were doing when they were on the board.
Yeah, but you're saying that
I think it's the voters that are labeling Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, but you're also saying that somebody that leans left got voted in to the school board twice by largely people that lean left? I mean, that's not surprising, though, is it?
No, not surprising. But I'm saying it's the voters that are branding the candidates left or right when they're supposed to run as independents.
Yeah.
You can't get away with it. Like I had this conversation off air with some folks. Even if you choose to run as an independent, people are going to still figure out a way to brand you somehow. It's impossible in today's world to be independent.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do it?
You've got to keep your politics very tightly rolled up in your sleeve, I guess.
And if you do that, how do you win? If you can't talk about your politics, how do you win?
I mean, what do school board... what do people...
Paul MacArthur says no ballot should have party affiliation no matter the office.
Yeah, I would like it if...
and he's right. He also says you equally piss off both sides. He's right.
I would prefer to have ballots state the person's name and then what their
platform points are.
Yeah, what their platform points are, so that I can look at what they believe in.
But
and
would the world allow that though?
You could even take a snapshot of that and hold them to that.
But would the world allow that though? Everything is branded in this world. Jamie Turner, Culpepper's finest. The New Jersey, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets have given him 6 things, Kyrie Irving, that he has to do before playing again. All of which were crafted with the knowledge that Irving would be unlikely to complete all 6 and then be released. Then other general managers want nothing to do with him.
Are these like Hercules?
They know that Kyrie Irving is such a prideful alpha dog individual that he's not going to complete these tasks. When he does not complete these tasks, he's going to be released by the Nets. And then when he's on the waiver wire, he is not going to be picked up by another team. The man's career is literally on the cusp of being completely canceled, and he is one of the best basketball players on the planet. And what he did to cancel his career, when it's all said and done, is tweet a link to a movie that's on Amazon.
It's crazy.
And his politics are completely different than mine. And I think Kyrie Irving has done a number of boneheaded mistakes. And these other boneheaded mistakes he's done have snowballed and crescendoed with this one. And because of the world is flat, he doubled down, tripled down, saying the world was flat. And because of his anti-vaccination mindset, he refused to get vaccinated, to the point where he was sitting out home basketball games because the state of New York said you had to have a vaccine to be inside. So he said, all right, I won't play home games then. Okay? He's got a prima donna, difficult image. And because of that prima donna difficult image, the NBA and the people in power are using that against him to get him basically out of the league. This tweet he did that was anti-Semitic, or tweeting that people should watch this movie, it's been snowballed with everything else he's done in the past. And he is going to potentially lose his career.
Unless he can complete their Herculean labors. He's got to defeat the Nemean lion. He's got to clean out the stables.
Yeah, Kevin Yancey. He is going to become the Colin Kaepernick of the NBA. I think there's a lot of truth to that, Kevin Yancey. Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, who had his career ended prematurely by people in power. Paul McCarter, as a voter, you should know that before going to vote, if you are an educated voter, then you should know the names of who you are voting for without their party affiliation or policy point on the ballot. That's another good comment for Paul McCarter. I think he'd be a fantastic school board member. I say that all the time. The unfortunate nature of 2022 and this digital society we live in is people want to label people. We're in a labeling people world. And if you run as an independent, you're going to get labeled an R or D. Don't you agree with that? We're in the branding business. This is what we do for a living, manage perception.
Labeling is not an inherently bad thing. But yeah, people are always going to...
Labeling is a slippery slope. It's a judging a book by its cover. It's jumping to conclusions as labeling.
But throughout the course of human history, there's a reason we label and put things in boxes, and it's never going to change. I mean, if you see somebody coming down the street toward you and they look like they've got their hand inside their jacket holding a gun, are you going to blithely wander on, continuing towards them along the street? You've got to make a choice. And throughout our lives, everything that we're taught teaches us to make snap decisions based on information that we have on hand. And part of that is labeling. And it's not an inherently bad thing. But when you start, othering, it's a term I learned from someone a few years ago. Then yeah, it can be dangerous.
Othering, you taught us that term.
Yeah, when you start putting everybody in like them, they, those people over there, you make them less than human, and make it easier to inflict upon them whatever you feel is necessary based on their differences.
It's very I'm having a hard time understanding much of where society's heading. You said it well. Amazon's making money on this movie.
But if somebody likes the movie and suggests that someone else watches it, then
their career is over.
Yeah, their career's over. That's
that guy.
That's disingenuous.
That's disingenuous. But that guy, Kyrie, who promoted the movie, I'm sure should have, from a common sense standpoint, should have realized that this could have backfired on him. And then when he doubled and tripled down promoting the movie, that got him in even more hot water.
Again,
a guy like LeBron James immediately from the get-go says he wants nothing to do with the movie because he understands how to play the game on the court and off the court. Is that disingenuous?
No, that's survival. That's
common sense, playing the game.
That's putting a Black Lives Matter sign in your store window. When there are people running down the streets tossing rocks, into store windows. It's a shield. I mean,
It starts, and this whole conversation started with Elon Musk buying Twitter.
yeah.
Elon Musk buying Twitter can be unpacked all the way down to the local level. We'll see how it impacts the news cycle. We'll see how it impacts a news market that's already starving for content. We'll see how it impacts political organizing. We'll see how it impacts the content that we desperately need getting out there, or does it not get out there now? I think from a catbird seat, it potentially puts what we're doing with this network in even more front and center spot. Because if you think about it, how many platforms in Central Virginia are doing local news? Not many. We're certainly doing a lot of that. But it also puts a lot more responsibility on what we're doing. And I feel that pressure. I don't know if you feel it.
No, I don't.
I feel it.
Because we're not journalists.
People are counting on us to bring news to them.
Yeah, but we don't bring all the news.
We've certainly been bringing a lot.
Yeah.
We'll continue more of this discussion tomorrow. I want to welcome somebody from the Media Studies Department at the University of Virginia to the show to help us unpack this as well. I'm working on organizing that interview as we speak. The crossroads of media and hyper-local fascinates me. So we'll continue the discussion throughout the network. And if you have a topic you'd like for us to pursue, send it our way, and we're happy to relay those topics live on air. This is the Thursday edition of the I Love CVille Show. Keep your ears open to learn. And if you have something that would make sense from us after opening those ears, pass it along, and we'll gladly chat about it on the program. For Judah Wickower, who did a good job today, my name is Jerry Miller, and this is the I Love CVille Show. So long.